Happy Thursday evening, family. Welcome back to another Better Minds Interrupting podcast. And I am here with the lovely brown girl interrupting Maria.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. It is really nice to be here again for episode 3 of Better Minds Interrupting. I'm Brown Girl Interrupting, also known as Maria. And lovely T, what we got in store today?
Okay, so as we shall know, we're talking about thoughts of betrayal. Do you feel betrayed and why?
Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. Oh, so many
Good
questions.
stuff. Some good stuff. Some good stuff.
Okay.
So let's define betrayal first. Let's do that. The Webster Dictionary defines betrayal as the act of betraying someone or something, or the fact of being betrayed by violation of a person's trust or confidence of a moral standard. The second one, revelation of something hidden or secret. That is the definition of betrayal.
Oh, okay. So violation of trust and hiding in secrets is betrayal too. You know what? So it makes me think there's just so many different ways you can betray someone or even yourself, which I'm imagining we'll talk about because it's not just being betrayed, it's betraying yourself too, right?
That's right. That is right.
Okay.
So that we all can be on the same page, I just thought I'd share what we like to call some synonyms with y'all. Backstabbing, disloyalty, double cross, falseness, sellout, and unfaithfulness. Synonyms, same meaning, but different word. Antonyms, this is what it's not. Faithfulness, fidelity, loyalty, steadfastness, and devotion. That's what it's not. So now that we got that lined up, we got the definition, we got some wordplay going on.
Hey, Brandy, we see you in there.
How are you? Now that we have that in place, let's have a conversation, shall we?
Okay, but before we do, I gotta say, when you were saying those synonyms and antonyms, I was getting triggered. Like just the word betrayal is like, when I was thinking about this podcast, I was really feeling like this, like feeling of like, it's a strong word. It's a strong word and it evokes really strong emotions. And every synonym you said was like more strong emotion throughout, right? Like, but then the difference is when you start saying the antonyms, I could feel like my heart rate go down a little bit, right? Like it was like those are the words that give you calm and give you ease. So I'm just thinking about that because that's how powerful the word itself is and everything associated with it.
Correct. I like your thoughts. Thank you, Brandy.
We love you.
We rock because of y'all.
Yes, we do.
So, okay. Now, it's interesting that you said that. With how the words make you felt certain emotions and it triggers certain things, because betrayal is based off of a deep emotion. So the question of, do you feel betrayed and why? Let's see. What do you think about this phrase I'm about to say? You cannot be betrayed by someone you do not trust.
All right, hold on. You cannot be betrayed by someone you do not trust. So if I don't, there's a lot of negatives, double negatives. Okay, hold on. So if I don't trust them, then they're not capable of betraying me. So betrayal has to come with trust, is what you're saying? And without trust, there's no betrayal?
I would reckon so. Why? Okay.
So is it that it doesn't feel like betrayal if there's no trust? It just feels like it's something that upsets you, but it's not betrayal because you didn't trust someone to begin with.
Yes, because when we go back to the definition, the act of betraying someone or something, or the fact of being betrayed by violation of a person's trust or confidence of a moral standard.
Okay. A violation of trust or
it.
confidence of a moral standard. So Brandy's saying she's agreeing with what we just said.
Okay.
And Just One Love, welcome. It's nice to see you here. That's true. You agree too. Okay, so we got agreement.
So,
hey, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
I trust people to be who they show me they are. That's true, but what if they break your trust and like you said, right? There's a violation of trust. So what do we do now? What's betrayal?
So it's not about what we do now. It's more so you got to dig deeper. We got to dig deep. And the reason why you cannot be betrayed by someone you don't trust. Think about it. If a stranger did something, you don't know them, so you don't expect nothing of them. Your expectations is none. You have none. But if someone you expect them to understand the boundaries you may have set. You may expect them to understand that if you love someone or if you love me, you wouldn't do certain things to break my trust. So when betrayals happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
You feel it. It's deep down. A stranger can't make you have a strong emotion of loss because betrayal is loss. You lost something.
Okay, so you broke down a lot of really specific things that I think connect to the idea of how do we know when it's betrayal, right? You said there has to be trust, there's expectations, and there's a loss. So all of that goes into the idea of I'm feeling betrayed because I trusted someone. I had expectations with that trust.
Right.
And now that trust has been broken, those expectations have not been met. And in fact, the opposite of the expectations, right? Like they've been shattered. I've lost something. That's why it's betrayal. That's why it hurts so deeply because I've lost something. You've taken it from me because you're the one who betrayed me.
Right. Because it was an act now. He or she had a choice and they chose and made that choice, whatever it was that may have made you feel that way. They may not even know that though.
Oh, first mistake. Just One Love says, first mistake we made was to have expectations on anyone. That's for sure, right? Can't have expectations.
100%.
Absolutely not, right?
Expectations on no one but yourself. That's it. Because you will never betray yourself. I will hope not.
I don't know. I think you don't think, can we not betray ourselves? Is that also something? We can't betray ourselves?
But we betray ourselves 100,000 billion%.
Often.
Yes.
Because that's the other side of it, right? Because if I trust you, but I wonder, so here's what I'm trying to figure it out. But I think what it is I'm wondering, like, I may trust you, but I have a sense of something that's off. And you betray me. And in fact, I'm more angry at myself than I am at you because I betrayed myself by trusting someone that I shouldn't have trusted to begin with. And I knew I shouldn't have trusted them.
Yes, because as John Logic said earlier, your first what you do is who you are. and you had to seen it somewhere along the lines. If you ended up with, if this so happened, a situation of betrayal, you had to know this person for a good amount of time to have that strong feeling about something. So you had to see their ways.
Yeah, just one
There's
love
no
says.
such thing as I didn't know. You didn't pay attention. No, you did. You was in denial and you ignored.
And just one love brings it up, right? Oh yes, I do betray myself often. That's why I totally can't have expectations in others. So that's part of why we're betraying ourselves is the expectations too, right?
Agreed.
Okay.
That's a way to control your actions. And John Logic said,
Yep.
Your actions are the only actions you control. That's right.
Only
That is
ourselves.
why when you go through something, you remove everyone away from that situation except you. Because you have to look at why you feel this way, how it came about, what triggered it. You have to put yourself in it. You can only control what you do. And if you feel betrayed, there's things, there's ways, and all that good stuff that I will share towards the end.
But can we go a little deeper into this feeling of betrayal? Because I feel like you had more to share about it.
I do. Actually, I researched some stuff, and I came across an article that was written by NIH, the National Institute of Health, and it was on the National Library of Medicine. And it's short. Don't worry. I won't read too long. Betrayal is the sense of being harmed by the intentional actions or omissions of a trusted person. The most common forms of betrayal are harmful disclosures of confidential information, disloyalty, infidelity, and honesty. Betrayal can be traumatic and can cause considerable distress. The effects of betrayal include shock, loss and grief, damage, self-esteem, self-doubting, and anger. The effects of a catastrophic betrayal are most relevant for anxiety disorders and OCD and PTSD. Betrayal can cause mental contamination, and the betrayer commonly becomes the source of that contamination.
That's a lot. Like it's a real, like it's a physical feel. Like a lot of the things you're describing were like physical pain that your body is actually going through. So even though it's a mental, emotional thing, it's like you physically can feel the betrayal.
Right.
That's deep.
It's deep. It's deep. You can, and this is how we cause illness to our body. Because we don't understand the simplest things that we do. Stress can kill you. That's the number one stress, right? But it's a reason why stress can kill you and why it causes all these illnesses. When you feel certain people feel a certain way, that pain may cause them not to eat, not to sleep. All of the functions that you need to survive, it makes you stop those immediate functions. You either underindulge or you overindulge. But either way, you're off balance.
And your body feels it, and your mind feels it, and your soul feels it.
So
wait, Jazz got a question. Are you saying that people who feel betrayed can carry on the energy of betrayal? I think I need to rewind that you dropped a bar at the end of the description. All right.
Well, you know I drop bars. No, I'm just joking. But I am saying that unless you know how to release it, there's ways to release this emotion of betrayal. There's ways to move forward. And let's just think about it. Can you carry the energy of betrayal? Yes. I got betrayed and I feel angry right now. So guess what? Everything I interact with or do It's going to be in an angry environment because that's the environment I'm creating.
What and isn't that like, oh, I was thinking like that's the same thing. Like it's just I'm just thinking like the toxic culture of dating right now. That comes up all the time, right? Like people who are unhealed get into situations where they're dating other people and they're bringing that betrayal feeling, that experience, whether or not they have ever felt that with this new person, and they're putting it on the new person.
Yes, it can transfer. That's the energy. We was on energy topic last week. Energy transfer. It's serious. That's why you gotta protect that aura you got. If it ain't bright, if you don't feel good, guess what? I need you to take a shower and go stand outside. Because that's going to refresh your energy.
I think it's the same comment.
You want to read that?
It's, oh, yeah. Can losing a friend be as painful as a romantic breakup? Oh.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
It can. Yes, it can, because that's a loss. That is a loss. If that friend meant a lot to you, like y'all was cool, y'all did so much, y'all did a lot of things, and then all of a sudden, this friend did something that caused some harm in your life, and you had to end that friendship. That is that betrayal. It kind of carry on with you, and it's still painful because damn, I lost this person. I really thought we was cool. But they went and they turned on me and they twisted up my stuff and what I said and what I did. And now these people think this, and that could be painful just as much as a romantic breakup, because it's something that was lost.
Well, and loss of
expected. You may have put some expectations on that friend that have hurt you.
the loss of trust, I think, is like the biggest thing, right? Like when you stop trusting someone, it doesn't matter if it's romantic or it's a friend, right? Trust is the biggest, most important thing in any relationship dynamic.
Yeah,
and when you take that away because of betrayal, which like that was the top thing, right? Violation of trust. You said it like 3 or 4 times, right? That's the key thing that comes with betrayal. Then like, it's like coming back from trust is so hard. What do they say? Like, it's really hard to earn someone's trust back, right?
And that's true. But before you earn someone's trust back, you need to know where the distrust is at. You can't just turn around and then all of a sudden, oh, okay, well, I'm going to earn a trust back. Well, do you know how you lost it? Right. Why you lost it? Do you know how you can gain it back? And as a matter of fact, the person that betrayed the other person have to know and feel like they betrayed you in order to accept it.
So what do you say is the best way to go about, like the way where you are healing? So you're not in that lost space, you're not in that negative energy, but how do you get the trust back for yourself, whether or not it's even with the other person? Is there a way?
There is a way. And I'm going to save it for later.
Okay. All right, we're going there. We're not there yet.
All right. So, but I want to dig a little deeper in the loss of betrayal and why it's so deep when it tends to the emotional side of it. The reason betrayal is the most devastating is it is a loss that didn't have to occur. Key, it didn't have to occur. Thus, the person that did it had an option, had a choice to not betray you. So it didn't have to occur. That is what makes it bigger. It only occurred because of someone's deliberately hurtful behavior or their carelessness or their own personal weakness. This is what makes that loss strong, whether it's a friend or on a romantic level. Either way, it's a loss.
So someone's harming you on purpose. Like you said the words deliberately, intentional, on purpose, right? Like it's on purpose. So
Right.
if you're harming me on purpose, that's really deep. Like,
It's deep.
because like to harm someone, you have to wish ill on them. And if you say, for example, in a relationship, right, and you are saying you care about someone, if you're harming them intentionally and causing and being and betraying them, right, betraying their trust, betraying their love, their care, all of that, I don't know, it's a hard place to sit, right?
It's a hard
Just
place to sit.
Just One Love says, I lost a friend due to my actions that I admit, but I feel like if they were truly my friend, we would still be friends. Yes, losing a friend is hard as a breakup. It is. I mean, depending on the depth of a friendship, right? Depending on that
And
connection,
some
it certainly can
people,
be.
like, okay, so if you betrayed that person, maybe that betrayal was so deep that it hurt them to the core. And the only way for them to get past or move or to even come up for air and breathe about the situation is to move on and move forward.
Can I add? So, okay, I want to add an element to that because I think also it depends on people's way of processing things. And I say this because, okay, for me personally, I have been betrayed by friends before. And every time I've been betrayed by friends, my go-to protection mechanism is just walk away. Like walk away, cut off. And if you have friends that are also our friends and y'all are too associated, I'll leave everybody. Like
Yeah.
I have severed ties with this whole crew. And if you come with her, you gone too, right? Like
Right.
that's it.
Right,
But
right.
because the pain is so bad, but not everybody reacts like that. So I'm thinking like people react differently. Like, so for me, that was my go-to. That's been my go-to in friendships. I ain't as good with it with other things, but in friendships, like,
Yeah, that's me too though, because like y'all said earlier, you showing me. And the fact that you betrayed me, oh, I gotta let you go. You can't be in my circle, none of that, because I don't want none of that energy. And I don't want it to carry on between people either. So yes, I gotta cut that whole entire circle off.
Yep. So I see Jose. My boy Jose is in here. What's up, Joes? He says perception plays a role on feeling betrayed. If you perceive someone betrayed you, but that's not what the other intended to do, but it still hurts you, is still considered betrayal. Yes, because I think it's not about intention. It's about the impact. It's always about the impact. You could intend not to hurt someone, but if the impact is that they are hurt and they tell you they are hurt, it doesn't matter whether or not you intentionally meant to betray them. They are hurt. You still have some harm to heal. Right. That's my thoughts. Trini, what do you think?
Well, it's that, and it is about intent. It's about intent too, because sometimes the fact that you had the intentions on doing that may hurt more than the actual action. Because like you said, depending on how people process and how people think, it could be either one of those. So I agree with you.
Oh, so what's up, Kiki? Hey there. Betrayal is rough and it makes me cut you off and have arguments in my head with you afterwards. Yes, and actually, I think we're going to get into those arguments in your head situation very soon. I hear you for sure.
Very soon, yes. That's always not good. The arguments in your head, because you might carry that energy on, unless that's how you process and that's how you let go. Because people do things differently on different levels. So we know about these different ways these emotions can pop up.
Okay.
Right. So we know the type of emotions we will experience, we will feel. The first one, and you tell me what comes to your mind when I say this. The first emotion that may come about when you be betrayed is denial and state of shock.
Yeah.
Why would that?
Okay, so I totally agree, right? You go to denial first because if I admit I was betrayed, I have to admit that I was betrayed. Like someone betrayed me. I have to admit that someone intentionally or unintentionally, doesn't even matter, harmed me and broke my trust. So denial for me comes from, how'd I let that happen? Like I'm angry at myself. Like I couldn't have let that happen. Like that doesn't happen to me. I didn't do that. I don't deserve that. There's no reason that that happened to me. Like you're denying the whole thing
Right.
because it's protecting you from actually facing it.
Right.
But that's a real unproductive stage.
So would that also make you be in a state of shock because of that denial?
Yeah, for sure. And almost like numb. Like shock and numb is what I felt before, right? Like that numbness of like I just can't even move. I don't know what to do. I'm frozen.
Right, right, right. Exactly. And then after that, after you recognize, after you realize, oh, well,
Wait.
damn.
Okay, hold on. Can we slow back? How do I go from denial to recognition though? Where's that like transition?
There's no transition because after you realize in your mind that, well, damn, this happened, you start to get angry. The other emotion come out.
Yeah, you do.
But before you get angry, how do you feel? What's the emotion before the anger?
Sadness turns into anger because anger is always the root of anger is really just sadness, right? Like
That's right.
always.
That's right.
So I have had this happen literally in the last few weeks. I can tell you, I have been like crying and get into like this angry state from the tears after like feeling all the emotions and be like, wait, hold on, fuck you, and da, da, da. Like now I'm angry, right? Like
Yes, you're angry. You are angry. And that's what we don't want.
Brandy
But
says,
it's
when
good
do
to
we consider
express
grace
it.
and forgiveness within betrayal? We're going to get to that, Brandy, because we got to also. We definitely do.
Right. That's right. So going through those emotions, not to say that you can't vent them out, you should. There's a way we can vent these emotions. Yep, that's true. We're going to dig into that.
We got to ask for forgiveness to get it.
Uh-huh.
What's up? Okay, salute.
Hey, salute. So we got to vent these emotions out, right? We got to know how to vent them out correctly. Because during the time, once you get to the angry transition, during the time of the anger, that person needs to vent. You got to vent to someone. You have to vent to someone who will listen and validate your anger. Check this out. Without feeding it.
Ooh. So you have to be really careful who you're venting to. But I'm also hearing that it's important, like part of the process to get to that forgiveness level that everybody's asking about, right? Is I first have to go to the stage of denial, sadness, and then anger. But let that anger out, not on the person.
Not on the person.
But on
not
a
to
third party, not to the person, not on the person, on a third party that is neutral, who's got no dog in the fight, right? Not totally
Can't
neutral.
have a bias. No,
Okay.
nothing.
And this is the key because so many times we go to the people that confirm what we're saying, but then feed the fuel to it, right? Those friends who are like, yeah, he is an asshole. You should have left him anyways, right? Yeah, I told you that was going to happen, right? And that is not what we're like, that's the unhealthy path. So we have to be really like mindful, it sounds like, about who we're telling our things to.
Right.
And so that they are not fueling the negativity but helping us heal? Because if they fuel, it sounds like, so if they keep fueling the negativity, then are we staying in the angry place longer than we need to?
Yes, they're actually leaning that thing up, pouring it on there.
Yes.
They gassing you. They
Yes.
pouring it on there. They add that battery to the back. They recharging you up. They doing all of that. And when you don't pick the right person, guess what ends up happening?
You stay in the angry place longer?
Betrayal.
Oh, wait, the person betrays you? Wait, now you got double betrayal? Is that what you just said?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Wait, is that a guarantee, though? Or is that just sometimes that's the possibility? But you've increased the possibility of more betrayal in your life.
Exactly. That's why you have to choose who you speak to correctly. You got to make sure they're not troublemakers. You got to make sure they really are neutral. That means a person can decide without having to choose, without having to pick sides. They can stick with their opinion and or not give their opinion because that's not what they're there for. They're just there to listen, to help you cope. Because what people should realize, when someone is venting to you, even though you may not want to hear it or whatever, let them vent. Let them get it off their chest. You don't have to respond. It's for them. It's the benefit of them not going crazy, of them not slashing or breaking or shooting up shit. You know what I'm saying? So let them vent. You may have saved their or someone else's life.
But so when we're talking, and since this is a podcast on giving people thoughts, right, on this idea of like, how do they deal with their own issue, their own things that come up. So if you've gone through betrayal with someone, is there a way that you can and it sounds like you have to frame your conversation with your friends. One, you have to be careful about your friends, which anyways, you should be careful about your friends, right? You should know who you got around your circle. And if they're not lifting you up and being positive and better influences of, with positive energy, then they're probably not supposed to be in your circle. That's one. But if when you tell them, you got to frame it and say, hey, look, I'm coming to you because I just am carrying this. It's heavy, it hurts, and I don't know what to do with this pain. And I need to just put it somewhere outside of me to process it. But I don't need advice. I'm not asking for advice. And I want you not even to have an opinion. I just need a place to take it, to let it go.
Right.
Out of my body. So it's almost like literally I'm taking that anger, that physical feeling, and I'm taking it out of my body now.
That is how they will validate your anger without adding fuel to it. That's how they can do that. And if you can't find that person, then check out a therapist. It's okay to have a therapist, okay? That person don't know who you know. So you can literally light their ass up with all your issues and stuff and not have to worry about it going back to no one. Period.
So
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I see that someone put a comment in there, but go ahead. You finish your thoughts and then I'm going to bring that up.
Go ahead. Read the comment.
No, but you have to confide. So Jose says you have to confide in people closest to you. They have to look out for you, not the person that hurt you. Yes, and I think the complication is you have to be careful as a friend where you may think you're looking out for someone. What you might be doing is fueling their negativity. And going back to betrayal may or may not have been intentional. So if someone was unintentional in the betrayal and you don't even know their intention and you tell a friend, like this happens all the time. I think about in marriages, sometimes with family, right? When you bring your family into the conversation, now that person also thinks negatively of the other person.
Right. And you don't
And
want that to happen because
they're continuing to keep your anger going.
Right. And you may have a different decision on what you told someone, and that person may still be angry at that person when they don't have that right to be, because they're not involved in the situation. They just know of it.
And then look, you're gonna be judged. Like, I just feel like you're gonna be judged if you end up staying with that person, if you end up not leaving. Like, that's the thing. You have to be careful with that, because I think it's complicated. I don't think there's one right answer, right? Like, I think everybody's lifting up some really good questions with no exact right answers, right? Because it's all situational and it's all contextual of whatever's happening in that moment with that person and what's going on. But it's like, these are the things you have to be careful of. You have to be careful of who you confide in. You have to be careful of your goals for the confiding.
Exactly.
So you mentioned a therapist, and John mentions this too. Therapy started to sound good. Just don't say you want to hurt somebody, so nobody could call the cops. Yeah.
Don't be going acting all loony bin, because they're gonna treat you just like the loony bin.
No.
Don't say you gonna kill yourself. Don't do none of that. You'll be in the straitjacket. But yeah. So
okay.
What was your last take? Something you said I was going to touch on.
I said you have to be careful about who you confide in.
Yes. I think that was probably the it.
What's up, Mr. Jones? Good evening, queens in the panel and everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here, Mr. Jones.
Okay, so we're going to go to a video. And in this video, it's a relaxing video. It's things that I create to help release emotions that you need to let go, from scents to colors to jewelry. Check it out. Welcome back. Okay, there's a link in the description where you can actually buy those things from the market. Okay, so now that we're back, I think we've been waiting for this.
All right.
Should you forgive your betrayer? How can you forgive your betrayer? Where do you start to even forgive?
Okay, so that's 3 questions. Where are we starting? Should we forgive our betrayer first? Should we?
Should we?
Do we need to? Is there some form of healing that comes from it?
It's a lot of healing from it. In my opinion, you should forgive. Forgiving is not just to say, okay, I forgive what you did. No, it's more than that. It's more so saying, okay, I forgive the situation. I understood my part in this situation. I understand how it got to this way. I now can let go and release and forgive it. That allows you to move on and not have bitterness towards
Yes.
it.
Yes. And Brandy just said, yes, you agree. And I would add to that, you got to ask for forgiveness to get it. Yeah. And we're going to get to that because, yeah, you got to ask for it, right?
You gotta ask
I
for
think
it.
so. That's the thing that I think I'm learning is that it's the forgiveness is not for the other person. It's really for your need to not hold on to the negativity. Like going back to what we said at the beginning is that those negative auras and emotions stay in your body. And if you can forgive, you are letting go and releasing that from you into the ether, right? Like out there, right? It's not in you anymore. So whether or not they even deserve your forgiveness, I think that's important, right? You still have to forgive, or do they have to deserve your forgive? Is it because it's not like so there's a difference between forgiving and forgetting. You're not forgetting. So
You
yeah,
never
Josie,
want to
you just
forget.
said it. I think you
You
can
never
forgive, but you can never forget. So
right.
I can forgive you, but I ain't gonna fuck with you anymore. Like I forgive you. You do you. You be you. But I'm not holding on to that. Yes,
Right.
forgiving yourself
No,
and your betrayer. Yes.
that's right. That's right. So,
Yes.
for all three of those questions, there are questions that you can consider to ask to find out. So, question number one, is the behavior a continuing behavior? Or does the person recognize the hurt they have caused and are trying to change behavior?
Are you asking me? Like, am I processing my betrayal right now?
Are you, I'm just saying, do you understand that question? Why would you consider it?
Yeah. I mean, like, so the idea is like, I have to decide, is it worth it to betray this person? I mean, sorry, to forgive this person because it's not a continued betrayal. It was a one-time betrayal.
Yes. You have to think that's just a question that
But
you
not just so I would bring it back because it's not just a one-time betrayal because I'm like when men or when people cheat on each other.
right.
So that may have happened one time.
Uh-huh.
But it's what's the behaviors that come after that that determine whether or not you're continuing the same pattern. So are you taking ownership or are you continuing to deflect and defend and try to avoid the conversation or defend yourself in the conversation? Because that's a pattern of continuing to betray your trust and your expectations, right?
That's true. Yes. Second question. Does the individual want forgiveness? There you go, John. To want forgiveness, the person has to see the behavior as wrong and not intend to engage in it any further. So you need to know if the person even wants you to forgive them. Because if they don't, that means they're not going to stop doing what they're doing.
So if they don't want me to forgive them, but this goes back to like, but if I want to forgive them just for my own peace of mind to move on with my life, I can forgive them, but not be with them still. You're saying, like, what you're saying is when I forgive them and I'm still there. So I've forgiven and I'm giving a second chance to build trust. That's what these questions are about. These questions are about when do you actually allow to rebuild that trust so they can't be repeating the patterns.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be asking for forgiveness because that means they want to be forgiven and they don't want to continue their patterns.
That's
So
right.
if someone asks you for forgiveness, that's a sign that they are taking ownership for their choice that they made, and they know that they hurt you and they don't want to hurt you. So by asking for forgiveness, you're coming back and saying, I'm sorry. It's like a way to apologize to some degree too, isn't it?
Right. Yes. That's the way to apologize. It actually is. Please forgive me. Or no, I know I did something messed up, but I don't want you to forgive me.
I don't want you to forgive me.
Some will come. Don't forgive me, because why would they say that? If someone tell you don't forgive them, why would they say that?
Oh no one's ever said that to me. Tell me why. I don't know. I've never heard that before.
Because they have no intention on stop doing what they're doing.
Well, I guess they're honest about it.
If you forgive them, it's going to allow them to keep betraying you. It's going to allow them to keep continuing on feeling guilty and guilty and guilty and guilty, and they don't want to feel that.
Oh.
If you don't forgive them, forget it. I'm gonna do it anyway because you don't forgive me anyway, so I might as well keep going. Or he don't forgive me, or she don't forgive me. I might as well keep continuing on doing what I do because they didn't forgive me. So it gives me the right feeling to continue on what is wrong.
So it's your past.
It's your past. Or, depending on who that person is, they cutting you off, chop off, break down.
Well, then if someone says that to me, if someone says they don't want forgiveness, that should be the sign that, yeah, I'm probably not going to build trust back with you because there is no trust.
Yeah.
If you don't want forgiveness, then I can't trust you.
That's right. And you probably would want to move on. Big time. Another thing you want to consider is how long you known the person. And is it their typical behavior? Is this the first time they did it? If it's not, then guess what? It's going to be a repeated pattern. They're going to keep doing it. So you're going to have to let go and walk away. Unless you want to keep feeling this betrayal.
Is that always the case, though? I don't know if we can say that's always the case. I think that some people make mistakes and they learn from those mistakes and they don't make those mistakes again. Because whatever they lost was so great that they would never want to risk that again.
Right. That's why you will have to consider how long you know the person and their pattern, their behavior. That's why it's a good thing. Like what you said, that's something you want to analyze. Right?
So is it how long or how well you know the person? Because it couldn't be, because you could know someone really well in a short period of time.
Right. It's both. It's both. It's just things that you want to consider. The length, how well, the actual things you actually did, things of that nature. Also, you have to talk to the person to see if they even accept that. Like what I said earlier. Do they even accept that they have betrayed you? Do they even feel like they betrayed you? Just because you feel like that don't mean they feel like that. Is that wrong?
Is it right or wrong, or is that what you want to be around?
You pose a question, my friend.
I mean, because if you have no expectations, then you can't determine what's right or wrong for someone else, right?
Right.
But you can say, that's not what I want in my life.
Exactly. And you can move on. Which is what I was going to end with. The real question is, do you need to forgive? So you need to move on in your life without the bitterness. If you want to move on without bitterness, without feeling no way, forgive. Let go. Remove yourself. You can still go on without having any type of relationship with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So before I end this, I'm going to leave y'all with a quote, and then I have a question for Maria. This is a good quote. What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us.
Michael Grady says facts. Yes, yes. So true, right? Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Michael. So Maria, on the closing, okay, you have a question.
Okay, wait. So both of you have questions for me, Michael and you, but can we come back to that? Because before we do, we'll take a quick break. And
that was my question.
we are going to, and I see there's a bunch of questions. Hold on to those questions, because right now, actually, it's funny because in the topic of betrayal, I actually just wrote in my blog, because I'm Brown Girl Interrupting, and I write a blog called Brown Girl Interrupting about me as a brown girl constantly interrupting, which just means I ask a lot of questions. I look at the world from different vantage points, but I wrote a new post that is fiction. However, it is about betraying ourselves. It's called That Smile. And you're going to hear a little bit more about my blog post and where it came from and what it's about. But I'd also like you to go, once we're done here, go to the link down below and subscribe so that you get all my posts as they hit. They are all about life, love, relationships, everything under the sun. A little bit about me, sometimes fiction, poetry. It's a little bit of everything. So check it out. Hi, my name is Maria, but you are soon going to know me as Brown Girl Interrupting. And what I mean by that is that very soon, hopefully, you're going to be following my blog. I am a writer, and I started writing because I was married, I had children, and then my life changed when I separated, and I did a lot of learning and reflecting and growing in that process of change, because change always leads us to that. And I've decided to share that with the rest of the world, because sometimes hearing that someone else is going through the same thing as you, or understanding and putting words to the feelings and experiences we're having, helps us to heal from them, or grow from them, or learn from them. And so that's what my blog is. It's writing about life, healing, relationships, parenting, dating, marriage, pain, love, mistakes, growth, and coming out whole still in all of it as a human, flawed, but always open to new things. So that's my life, that's my journey, and it's written in this blog. But my hope is that you are going to go to www.browngirlinterrupting.com and join and subscribe to the blog and read all about my story to help you maybe gain some perspective on yours. All right. Okay, question time. So you had a question for me, Jenny?
Well, the question was leading up to you to do your blog.
Oh, okay. We covered that. Okay, but I saw Michael had a question. And wait, Jose is saying pride might keep people from asking for forgiveness. Yes, ego. Ego is a whole nother conversation we need to have, because that pride and ego gets in the way of all of it. But the truth of the matter is, if you have that big of an ego, then you're not putting the other person's feelings before your ego.
This is true. Brandy said, forgiving yourself and your betrayer. Yes. You will have to do, it's both to do good. It's just pleasing to the soul.
Yeah. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to hold on to the anger of resentment or betrayal from anyone. You got to let it go. Thanks, Michael. Yes. Yes, I would concur. He is a fool. Sorry. It's the truth.
So, Maria,
Yes.
betrayal is so deep, right?
Yeah.
There is a phrase, and I'm gonna say it. You tell me what you think it is. Betrayal trauma.
Ooh, I think to me it's that it triggers a lot of things. It gets triggered very quickly and you're on the defensive a lot because you've been traumatized by the level of betrayal or the experience of betrayal and what it felt like and what was lost. It goes back to loss and grieving, right?
It sure do. It sure do. And that trauma is an imprint that's been left on you. And that imprint can travel to other situations, and triggers can make it happen so that you may think you've been betrayed, but you haven't. The mind is
that goes back to
crazy
perception. Perception and reality can become what do you call it? Like blurred, right? Perception,
right.
reality gets blurred when you're in that betrayal trauma.
That's right. We
All
need
right,
to, it's a lot of us
yes,
that need some healing. Like
yes,
we gonna heal ourselves together.
yes.
We gonna become aware. We're gonna do all of these things. We are here to be better, family. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
You still can keep your little ratchetness on the side, but all jokes to the side, we are trying to heal internally. We're trying to live a better life.
Speaking in tongues now. Yes. We at that healing place, right? We up here. Look, we're in the space.
There you go.
We're in the space. But I think what you point out in the language is so important. It's a journey. We are on this journey. There is no arrival. It is a constant journey. It is a constant reflection. It is a constant examination. It is a constant understanding of self. And every layer you learn something new. I mean, I told you about my last week, but this week was a whole nother learning point too. Like every week has been like I've learned some shit about myself. Like I'm like, damn, does this book ever end? Like,
I'm gonna learn the rest of my damn
girl,
life. Like,
girl, it does not feel like it ever ends. It really doesn't. But that is why we are here healing together, because we got to keep going through it. So how do we do it and stay whole at the same time? With lovely T and her spiritual advice, and read my blog. It might help you gain some insight also on the journey and what it is.
So check us out next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Channel.
Peace, love, and light.